Hi everyone, this is BeautyBubble for a sneaky, cheeky chat and my little avatar here. Welcome. This is an voice-activated avatar and the link is down below by Moz3. It's called Moz3 and AnistaLinkWeb.Versal.app, and you can start your own little journey for your face. Well, it's kind of strange. It's not really considered faceless. I guess the PNG YouTuber has been around for years and has always required some super software and you may have seen these sorts of things all over the internet. Sometimes it's a lifelike looking one. Sometimes AI certainly has these. But this falls in line with super easy, simple. I don't really know how he does it. It's unbelievable, the technology that's just right there on the dash for you to play with these adorable movements that respond to the human voice. So I'm on my global mic on OBS, and she's actually full figured. It's a full figure animation, and a lot of from what I can tell on the style, they spent a lot of time on the upper body movement, and some of them are just really fantastic. The hair moves, and of course there's the animation of the articulation of the arms and the legs and etc. So they're very, very expressive. This is just my first walkthrough. I thought that she was worth trying to see whether or not OBS could handle such a artifact on ours. Oh, I'm kind of taken aback by this a little bit. That my OBS on my Mac could handle having such an artifact. So let's go over back to YouTube and make sure that we're getting some activity and see how she actually looks out in the wild. So give me a moment. Also, I'm kind of by myself today, so I didn't have to kind of squirrel away to the upstairs, where a little harder for me to navigate through the house if I go to the upstairs office. So there's just more for me to set up and such. That's all. Not a big deal. Okay, so let's go to the channel and see how we're doing. And that is a little bit of a bother because you have to leave the window. Available. And that is a little okay. And we are getting quite a bit of buffering. Not really too sure. Let me see. Put a couple of things in the chat and see. I think we're getting buffering. Okay, so let me take out my X. We do not need the studio open. I have a Haleyao that I have to post in a little bit here. So I'll take my Haleyao out, just kind of lighten the load a little bit, and keep the Moz3 up. Okay, that helped a little bit, because the drag shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so my concern is on my end, I'm getting a little bit of jittering. Not getting the buffering, but I am getting a little bit of jitter. So let's see if we can get a figure out how to get a smooth animation. So this is kind of why I'm doing this. Can I change some settings in OBS to get a smooth? So this is the thing. The PNGTuber, of course, would rely on that the animation is closely, well, it's precise. The avatar that I have that's on my screen is precise. She's making all of the gestures. She's relying on the mic, and it's all through the mic. So there's no, they take the audio and then they put the animation together. The problem is on my Mac is that it may not always keep up with the animation. So you get buffering or odd bits like that. So what I've seen over the last couple of months with the project with chat only is every once in a while, and even yesterday, that people would come on and there would be no audio. And that puts people off a little bit, which I think is in a way kind of crazy when it says chat only, and I've done so much to make sure that people understand and understood that it was just a chat. So this was an idea to have it be where I can keep her up in the background and then throw her up every once in a while as a movie file, right, with my voice going, hello, welcome to whatever we're doing today. And that would kind of put people at ease. But of course we know that you can't keep everyone at ease. But to keep it fun, I've noticed that when we do have animations, like the orb animation that I use, that seems to be more, it's not as unsettling to come into a YouTube video and there's no audio. However, I'm pretty sure you realize that the least amount of audio seems to be the better. Much rather look at the clown antics than hear some of the narration, air quote, narratives that are coming out of the creators in this particular era. So, as I tisk and I task, and I'm not really quite, this is not an official broadcast or anything, just so that you know. We're just testing this tool. Down below it's called Moz 3 Inista. Moz 3 Inista. And the window to get you started is actually the whole way that the UI is done, and it's actually very fun. Like it's almost instant. It's like less than 2 minutes to set it up. And I think that this would be good for maybe short messages that might work in like an email environment. Something like reminding people of the day, maybe what the schedule is for a conference that you would get maybe a little delivery like this, reminding you, that the buffet is open at XYZ and the transport buses leave at this time or that time. It might be interesting to see it in that environment. I think we're all familiar with this PNGTuber approach to broadcasting. I have not watched any of them knowing that that's what it was, because they were just jumping around animations. I did not know that it's a whole idea and concept of broadcasting yourself. I did not know that. Hey, the Alaska, what do you think? Oh, it is super low. Oh, so sorry. Let's see what's going on. Ooh, I don't know. Let me switch it. Let me take it out of global. I don't know what to tell you. Darn you. Because I have it on lock. It's supposed to be just fine. Maybe I'll speak a little louder. How about that? I'll just try and come up a little bit louder. And just let me know. I'm so sorry. It's at the same level that it's always been. So, you know what it probably is? I have a tendency to do this when I'm sort of really on my own. and my house is completely quiet, I have a tendency to not project as much. Plus, I just couldn't. I wanted to get this little fun thing out there and speak to you guys in this way. So I think that's probably what it is. Okay, because everything is just fine on my end. But what you doing? How's it going out there? You actually, by you coming in helps me be a little bit more animated. So I'm very interested to see what you think. Unless you're so used to chat only. Ooh, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't go so far. I wouldn't do all that sort of thing. I have no idea. Now, the mic is being captured by the Moz 3, so they may have some degradation that goes on over there. I don't think I can, my sensitivity, I think we're right just in the moderate range, and then the noise gate is at the very end. But I think the air quote the beta that I'm using right now, you see, I'm reaching top levels with their mic activity, so I can't take it any further than I have. It may be that they're doing some suppression, or you know what I mean. They may be doing some like audio where the chain gets a little bit fuzzy. It's super hot. Oh, ooh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I and you can see that the more sort of ooh, oh, really now? And of course, probably a giggle or two, or just like, oh my God, hello, how are you? That will make the animation more so. On this program, though, once you're already kind of all the way in, there's all sorts of things you can do. You can, hold up. You have all sorts of lip syncs, eye blinks, and I guess you can add on parts. I'm thinking that maybe you can add on a skateboard or something like that. I'm not so certain about it, but it came into my feed yesterday, and there had been a couple months ago, even as far as maybe 5 months ago, that the OBS like plug-in people were talking about it, and I just didn't think that. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they weren't ready to have it be for the Mac quite yet. And then Galil Level, if you know Gael Level, who is a big OBS plug-in person, does many. I think it's really his whole business model is to build plugins and then educate you on plugins and settings for OBS. So he's always for me like want to catch his uploads the moment that they come out. So he had done this to update everybody as to where things were and how the build was going. And then I said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a whirl. Well, this is the thing. Do you know how many people, so many people, say this? And hold on just a moment. Just one little second here. Let me clear my throat. I think that people bite off more than they can chew in the beginning. And the only way that I could say, because I've been spending 4 hours, right, 4 hours a day for 60 days. And truly the only way that you can really manage it is to just get in there and not have a tremendous amount of output initially. And then over time you go, oh, now I see how this and this and that work together. of course, the gamers are always relying on the power of their computer, so they can add they can just keep adding, um, you know, audio chains and more cameras, and of course then their games are more complicated, and they have the reaction speed. So for me, OBS has always had this issue with reaction. Even the simplest things will start to jitter and judder, and even in the way back when I very first tried OBS, and it was like you've got to get in there and have it. And then of course, if you've been following me, you know that in the very early days of StreamYard that I was like right there. But even back then when people were starting to use StreamYard, they would still hold on to their OBS, which I had always thought was a very smart thing to do, because when you lose the little, you know, when you lose that knowledge base, yes, of course you can go in and you can do it right away, but it's almost as if you're starting from absolute scratch and rebuilding up your output, what you want to bring. So you've seen even over the time with Chat Only that I'm still trying to do different things, what else could I do with the chat? And yeah, you don't have, there are some beautiful StreamYard events and productions that have been out there, as you well know. The limitation is, I think, especially since Gage and Dan are no longer part of the company, that we have seen, this a new builder and these new coders that have come in and said, oh no, we might need this, and what's called feature creep in my world, feature creep. And I'll put it in the chat so I know that this is what I was talking about. And it can be very dangerous for one's budget, and did I write feature crap? I did. I wrote feature crap. It should be feature crap. See, I know down in my heart, right, that's what it is, though. And from the beginning, of course, I would share this idea with Gage in particular, that let's keep those 3 pillars intact so that people know the value. And of course, that was able to go on for quite some time. Now all it is complaints, and it's from all of the broadcasters. It's complaining, and you can see some of the bigger broadcasters no longer use it. They may still have it so that they can do their panels, but yeah, I wish I could be more. As is my life, I still have, there's secrets that I can't share with you. There's a reason that I've been on OBS for all of this time. Yeah, this is their way. That's the Bending Spoons way, the air quote outfit that purchased StreamYard, and lots of details about that acquisition that made me very uncomfortable, say it that way. Yes, I have some secrets, I know. If you follow me, you'll know that I've got all sorts of... I have a little treasure chest, and sometimes I can't open the treasure for a while. But there's always a treasure. So I think this might be... We shall see. We shall see, because we're just in a whole other different part of people's lives. You can see that how much broadcasting is done where the the live view is necessary, and this has gone beyond in real life. So you have your eye speed and your neons, clavicular, that these are all people that rely on an incredible amount of bandwidth to push out their idea, but they're still headed to these what I would consider rinky-dink. Like Twitch is rinky-dink when you consider the amount of money, and then of course a Kick, even though I don't come out with it, I don't know what number I am, but I'm pretty sure that it's under 1,000. It might be under 100 when I started my Kick. And there are some times where there was a great talk about the kind of what the graph looked like. That in the beginning it was the gearheads, like to be able to afford that camera or that new microphone, that these were all very, very expensive tools. And then to get and push yourself out, of course, OBS was just a godsend, and which I think really allowed for there to be a lot of interest in OBS to get things rolling. And then the prices of the gear and availability dropped down. And then now that equalizer, and then you toss in the cocktail of StreamYard / COVID, you have this absolute perfect opportunity for people to communicate their craft, communicate with their family, etc. So it became this tool of communication, really. And you'll notice that in a way that the live views, that because there weren't, even the Stream Deck, for example, there weren't the triggers, and people were using StreamYard with OBS so that they could have their triggers set on the Stream Deck. And I'm not a historian about this, by the way. I know a few things about what happened. Then the acquisition comes in, and now all of a sudden we have Stream Deck over at StreamYard, and these integrations, and the gurus talking about all the things, and the overlays, and these sort of things became more and more and more. And it became, you'll notice that the streamers that were actually making money, and how the gambling kind of worked in, and all that needed to be very fast moving. You could not, put a, I don't think I've ever seen a StreamYard gambler. I don't know if I have, where they're using StreamYard. I believe more than likely that they always have it as a plan B for if they're going to panel. So you have the price of the gear, it drops down. So the gearheads and the people that are building these beautiful pieces of equipment, that's no longer a flex. For you to have a $300, $400 Shure microphone, it's not a flex anymore. And of course these microphones will last, 10, 20 years. My father's microphone, he had maybe for, I don't know, 40 years. So, if you take good care of the gear, you're really only looking for like an Icademel who might go from a Shure, because everybody's using a Shure, and then he sources out to see what other microphones, and there are some beautiful microphones. So then you have the microphone, then you have the boom arm that has to match, and then you've got the pop filter that's got to match, and then so people they've maxed themselves out, and they have all of this gear, and there's no money coming in. And then you see kind of moving away, and then people starting to do more podcasts, more faceless stuff. So this is what I find very interesting. This is truly what I find interesting. Is that as the idea of faceless competes now with the in real life, where they are using, incredible cameras, they have full-on teams, their live view and the relationship that they have with live view, or maybe another I can't remember what live view calls itself. I'll go and say, like, what the technical term is for live view. that you're up against the talking head, single broadcaster that has maybe multimedia. So you have lots of screens. You're able to go, like a political pundit would be a good one, like Mercado Media or someone like that, who's got a sit down, a gorgeous setup. He's got this lighting right. He's got his microphone correct, but yet he's got all of this other media that he's pulling into the programming. And all of that has to work. You can't, at any level where you're trying to, whether you have sponsors or your flex is your um, subscriber flex, or that you are actually, you have a team member on the ground, like at these protests. You did? Why didn't I know that? Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's what made all of this so incredible, was that if you had something to say, I've been talking to Rob Greenlee about this for years, is that if you're able to lift your voice, like I don't always do this because it's just not it's not a gift to come on the mic. But for those that do have that gift, they could do it at any time. This is what's made the whole idea that we actually, each of us has an incredible idea. And now we can all say something right. The thing is so now you can, and now you come across people that, this whole teardown era that we're going through. The whole boring, you need to entertain me, you're so boring. I don't know, for whatever reason, like I never, at any point, did I ever find traditional broadcast where the response was, "You're so boring. I don't like you." Yeah, we're in a teardown era, and we have to do this. So I'm more hesitant that of not really seeing the usefulness at scale, but I'm very, very curious to see kind of where we are going with this. Like, I don't think that the gamers, I'll tell you it's just a little teeny story, but I'm in a Bitcoin forum, and of course this is years ago, right? Bitcoin is under $100, so it's years and like decades ago now, it feels. And so one of the Bitcoiners was speaking to me, and I think we may still have been on Google Hangouts. If not, we were on, what was that channel called? Speakeasy or whatever. So he just came out and he said, "You know what, Beauty? You know that this is headed to the gambling community. And once Bitcoin gets involved with the gambling community, that's really where you need to go. That is where this is all going." And I've never forgot, he was so adamant about me stop spending so much time on the charts, because it's actually going to be the merging of this idea that you have, where it's a constant, you're online constantly, and the gambler. I was like, oh man, that'll be, it really takes us out of, it gets so scrappy really fast. And, because the idea with TradingView is that you would always have a live chart with a conversation going. That was the whole pitch of mine, on the actual deck. When you would go into a chart, you would actually be hearing a conversation about a normal pedestrian conversation, not a guru conversation about any name that you wanted. So you could be on Bitcoin. My focus was Bitcoin, but you could be on the oil chart. You could be watching Berkshire. You could be getting into Lululemon, and there would be an actual live. Now, there's been an attempt to do this since my ban. I'm actually on a 3-time life ban at TradingView. So there is a voice component, but I don't think it's connected to chat, and I can't get into it. And then nobody talks to me anymore because I'm a problem child. Okay, so let me get back. So he brought in this gambling. And I'm like, casino gambling? Like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I mean, this is the future. The underbelly here is going to be where all of this merges together. You're wanting to do Chart Chat Connect, and the whole idea of the 24/7. The gambling, of course, the gambling world is 24/7 internationally, and the whole the gamers. So of course here we are, and you can't tell the difference between someone that's gambling and someone that's live streaming and chatting about what their ideas are, what their opinions are, because the gamer, it's just an opinion. These are opinion channels. I know that they want to make it so that it looks like, oh, they're the best of this and that and the other, but you should be the best if you are spending the time. Hey, Soleil, say hello to my little friend. Oh, I think she's settled down a little bit, actually. So, yeah, and then here we are. So you go on to Kick, for example, and you really don't know the difference. And so you're there, and you could be watching. Well, it wouldn't matter. You could be watching Neon. Neon, Clavicular, and the other ones that do in real life. They've really separated themselves from the pack. They don't need Kick. They need the Kick money, but they don't need Kick at all. Where someone like Cluminati, they need Kick, and you'll notice that all the bells and whistles and silly things and the animations and the audio chain and all of that is to. I know we're just international. We really are. We have 2 Canadians now. It's unbelievable. So it mimics this whole gaming idea. When we know opposite to that, you can look at a Jackson broadcast, which is at the lowest of the low. So we're about to probably, if we can get through this teardown era, then we may see some really interesting playouts and how people can do their broadcast, something that's newer and more fresh to allow for us to jettison, or what you've heard me say, pivot. Oh, who am I calling? I know, no, it's the Scarface reference. You know the Scarface reference. Not a very good reference. I'm so sorry, guys. It's really not. So here we are. Will PNGTuber Style work? I think that, yeah, today and probably for the rest of the week, I'm going to go into these sessions that they do to kind of get the idea. I have a feeling that a lot of it is maybe more to the furry side of broadcasting, but then yesterday I saw one of the educators use an avatar that I thought was actually very, super sharp. Like, you'll notice the resolution on this is not very great. But there are other programs that allow this. The resolution is just wonderful, and then the animations are super fun. It's not, air quote, my style, but of course I've used this chibi girl style with a lot of my Haley-Ow. If you have noticed on my X, I have a tendency to go to the chibi style. So you can build your own. I did learn that there's basics about doing your own character, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe with this Moz 3 you can bring in your own your own character. But I just thought that it was very useful to have the voice component, which you guys know that there was no way that I was going to be able to avoid bringing voice. And even yesterday, in the comment section, someone stopped by and would go, "Oh, so there's no audio. What's that?" I love how you guys are just go on with yourselves. Go on now. Talk about your sports. Come on, go on. I'll just get this into that. You guys have got to come over to the Sneaky Cheeky chat, because what's very cool about Sneaky Cheeky is that they can just go on and sneaky cheeky, sneaky cheeky, while I just go on and play with my with these tests that I do. I love it so much. I love it so much. I really do. The whole idea that, oh, okay, wait a minute, I can do these things, and then I can be involved, and then I can listen every once in a while if I want to. No, it's good. It's all, no, this is exactly what this is supposed to be. Don't be sorry. Stop. Please don't be sorry. Okay, so I think she's adorable. The big story, I guess, here for me is that things are changing, and if we don't bring it back down to some kind of decent baseline, we're cooked. I was listening yesterday and trying at every paragraph and every punctuation. I was just asking myself, what is going on? And the old one that I always say, why are we here and what are we doing? And what do I want to see come of it? And I found myself actually stumbling about, why are we here? Now, I know that this seems like a big question, but it's really not. It's like, why are we sorting out come onto YouTube, and we're sorting out where we're going to head. And this is beyond spending time or being concerned or anything like that. This is just very, very simple way of looking at your day. I'll do a little motivation speech about this. Like, number 1, never judge the day by the weather and the letter. It's lagging for you too, huh? Ooh. Well, tell me if, this is what I'm going to do. Hold on just a moment. I'm buffering on this end, which means that you are buffering on the voice. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and, we're going to go ahead and get rid of her, I think. Go ahead and X out and get rid of her and go over to Moz, and we're just going to get rid of her, because that's not right. And disable the mic. Did I disable it? And disable microphone. There we go. And X out altogether. Okay. Give it a moment to just kind of catch up, and then let me know. There's absolutely nothing interfering at all right now. There's just 2 images on the screen. That's it. See if that works. We'll let it kind of catch up. I might have to go anyway. Remember I was all by myself? I don't think I'm going to be all by myself. Gosh darn it. I just worked it out too. All right. Well, it's back to the garden, guys. I know. I got a little time to myself. It's back to the garden. I think I have to go. You know what I think I'll do? Let me put myself on mute, and then I'll be in the chat. Okay. Okay, in the last couple of minutes here, I'll be on the mic and to try and wrap up the PNGTuber business. And being that we're in the last little bit, I'm going to thank everyone for stopping by. Thank you. Saw some numbers pop in. And it will be like this until one day soon, maybe it'll be like this throughout the summer. I'm not really too sure. You can see that I'm doing my best to try and come online at least once a day. And this isn't just for, air quote, an audience or anything. It's to keep the momentum inside of YouTube and the analytics. I'm very dry on a lot of the points where I could have an actual full profile. So I am trying to just keep that momentum going and maintain the subscriber base if I can. Not really too sure if that's going to work. I can tell you straight away that if I do not bring any kind of drama or strife or opinion that is manifested as drama, there are no numbers. We've had a lot of people find us, over 28 new subscribers since the project started, which is, I never expected that. I was always hoping that maybe we could get towards 500, and it just kept, every day we would gain a subscriber, but we gained most of our subscribers when I did my upsettedness toward nonsense, the creator nonsense. Outside of that, man, if people want to hear that, they need to hear, I don't know if it's a workout, maybe it's an emotional workout or something. We've always known that it exists, but I never saw where you go from having a small speak pipe and you're just doing your thing and you're trying to build something that didn't exist before, to I'm not going to take any of that crap. I'm going to talk about it, and poof. I was in the chat because I did 2 of those sessions, and there was we saw quite a bit of where, is this drama? Are you drama? Because I don't do drama. I only do true crime. Are you true crime? And I want to say something about audience. An audience is very complex. In fact, it's more complex than the broadcaster, because according to YouTube, once you gain momentum and once you find your, air quote, find your tribe, and you have repeat, you end up where consistency is of great value to you, and all of the things that make you a wonderful broadcaster on YouTube, so YouTube can make money. And I know I'm saying so you can make money, but that's the premise. The premise is to figure out a way to make money. And so to think that your audience is that person, that, air quote, that avatar, that's not true. We are highly complex. It can go from sunup to sundown, and through that we will have an arc of our own story, an arc of our own interest, story meaning interest, commitment, momentum in our day, making sure that we get all the things that we want to get done in that day, whether it's we're interrupted and we come online to grab an idea about a recipe or a particular tool. Like today we're trying to sort out our garden tools, and so we'll be online, and we'll catch the idea of what's going on online at very different points of our mindset. And they would prefer that our mindset is completely, absolutely, completely dedicated to them. And this is where the idea of narcissism takes play that, you're hitting the button to go live, that you are going live because you are a narcissist. YouTube, on the other hand, wants you to come live because you are offering something of great value to an audience that they are trying to match you up with. So it doesn't involve all of this other very odd, dramatic overplays. So that's the era that we're in, and I'm not so much shocked by that, but when you have a creator say, "Why don't you go watch someone else?" Well, that's really not it's the option technically, but it's not the option emotionally. Everyone wants to see the beginning of a story. You kind of sink your teeth into the couple first chapters, and then you decide, oh wow, can I hang here? Can I get what it is that I'm looking for in my day here? Do I want to check in on someone? We've seen this here with even my channel, just these simple check-ins. You check in, you check out, you say hello, and then there's you're supposed to have there's an emotion that goes on with that. So the idea that people would want to hear anyone speak about a pain point that cannot be changed. Remember, I would never be in service to Jackson or nonsense if I was thinking that I might be able to change their mind. And no matter how high up they go in the food chain of the niche, they will not be changing their mind. And we know this in our personal life. Oh God, the whole, if he could just change this little bit about himself, then he would be the perfect guy. We cannot change what it is that you want to bring to the internet, and we're going to do our best job to find people that mesh with that for a moment. Imagine that. It's really like landing one of the rockets. It's that narrow. It is a thread through a needle that is very delicate. It's like a silk thread through a ratchety old rusty needle. Okay, so we are 2 minutes away. And today what we're going to do, because I can hear that there's rattling going on, what I will do is, let's see. How am I going to do this? All right, I will go ahead and put myself on mute, and we'll do our kindnesses towards the missing and the creators that are enduring health challenges. It's been a pleasure today. Will PNGTuber Style work? I don't know. It's a real heavy load for me. Sneaky cheeky chat with BeautyBubble. Thank you so much for the last hour, and believing that we can just come and go and be ourselves, and it's okay, and we're good, and all of the things like that. Bye-bye now.